obviously, because we kept you on, we're going to be talking a topic with you, which is about as far removed from what you were talking about just a second ago.
Miley Cyrus has just come on the autocue, which should make me nervous.
Bring on the wrecking ball. No, singer Miley Cyrus and actor Liam Hemsworth have split after just 8 months of marriage. Now, it's not the first time that they've gone their separate ways. They broke up back in 2013 and then reconciled. So is going back to an ex and giving things a second chance always doomed to fail? Now, obviously, I don't necessarily mean it from a personal perspective, but any kind of perspective, whether it's a political perspective or otherwise. If you've left something, is it ever a good idea to go back to it?
I don't know that there's an absolute yes or no answer to that. I suppose my philosophy in life tends to be, you know, keep moving forward and try not to look back, try not to have regrets. But I guess it depends on circumstances. It depends on, you know, different factors at play, and I guess it depends on what you're talking about. In relationships, I don't know. It's not something I've done, but, you know, I guess it depends. If you broke up in the first place, then unless you really resolve that, then perhaps you're just going to repeat the same mistakes all over again.
What do you think, Brenda?
I've said it before, I'm a strong believer in once you've gone, then you're gone, and that's it. You shouldn't go back because, you know, I think that you've got to talk about the reason why you've finished in the first place, and if you haven't done that, then it's just going to come back up and rear its head, I think, if you come back again.
Yeah.
I sort of disagree with that in a way, because I know some people who've had children, got a family, pardon me, family structure, and so the bloke has gone off and sort of had an affair or something. But in the end, they somehow or other managed to work their way through it. And I know one particular friend of mine gave her husband another chance. Now, the thing is, there is that little thing about once the crack is in that very fine vase, you know, does it creep further and further? Which they seem to have made it work. And I sometimes think that if you give somebody the second chance, maybe it proves, and it doesn't work out, maybe it proves to yourself that what I did in the first place was right.
I agree. Well, I sort of agree, because I think that people do give up too easily these days. I think, especially in a marriage, I think, you know, people do make mistakes, and they might be terrible. And I was married before Mark, and we did split up, and I did think to myself, right, well, he's made a mistake, but we are married, and I'm going to try and make this work, because I didn't want the marriage to fail. As simple as that. And I did, but... And we got back together, but then when we split up the second time, I absolutely knew. There was no doubt, because I'd given it that second chance, and I think that was the right thing to do. So I don't think I wasted that extra time. No. I think it was worthy, and it was a good idea, because I did give it every chance.
I agree with you about people giving up too quickly, and I think that's something to do with the age we live in. You know, social media, things pass so quickly, and people's attention span seems to be much shorter,
easy, isn't it?
so it's easier to give up.
I think
and perseverance is a good thing in life.
I think with young people as well, actually, you know, it is so easy to get divorced. That sometimes they just think, well, I'll get married and give it a try, and if it doesn't work, I'll get divorced.
Well, I know in my instance, I hung in there way too long, because I think, again, my background, you persevere, you hang in there, you make allowances and what have you. But obviously in Miley and Liam's circumstances, they were very young, they hadn't got married, and I suppose you could say that they had a sexual sabbatical, because both of them kind of went off, maybe in particular Miley, and sowed their oats and explored other avenues. I'm trying to put this really nicely for daytime. Do you not think maybe that's a good idea? Sort of get it out of your system, and then come back and think, right, I'm ready now.
Yeah, but you would only do that if you were young and you got married too young and you hadn't done that. This is why you do see a lot of middle-aged women, like, not going mad exactly, but I mean, you know, getting to a point in their age where they think, I haven't had any of that fun that I should have had when I was young, because I got married young and I had kids too young.
But now I'm too tired.
And no, but they don't.
Very good.
They get to 40, 50, and they think, right, I'm partying now. So
I think it is sometimes
happen.
harder to break up than stay together. The easy thing, I think, sometimes is to stay together, because then let's paper over the cracks. Whereas if you admit something's wrong, it's sometimes much harder to say, OK, you know what, can we just call it a day?
I'm going to leave that subject behind. I'm going to ask Nicola about another quote which I read, and you only give me a short answer if you want, about Boris. He said he talks a load of nonsense with a lot of conviction.
I stand by that quote.
You stand by that, do you?
I don't think you're a fan, are you?
Boris and I are not very alike, but he is. He's, and again, it's not just men. So I don't want to make it sound as if I'm having a go at men all the time here. But you know that kind of guy, and Boris is very. He does. He just talks nonsense, but he has that swagger and confidence and conviction. But actually, despite the swagger, it's still nonsense.
Maybe he thinks you talk nonsense.
Maybe he. I'm sure he does.
But he probably wouldn't say it.
I'm sure
because
he
he's
does.
Maybe.
What? Because he's what, polite?
Polite.
A gentleman. He is quite
Boris polite.
is a gentleman, is he? I mean, he had this massive entourage that Theresa May or David Cameron never had. I don't know who they all were.
Wow. Did you shut the door really quickly before they could all get in?
Tried to, but they all got in. They were fans.
Nicola, it's been an absolute delight having you
been
on the
my
show
pleasure.
today.
Thank you
so
so
much. Thank you for joining us. I have to say, because you've stayed on over 2 parts, you've almost unofficially become a loose woman. Have you enjoyed your time?
I've had a great time. So, yeah, I'll come back anytime you want.
Good. Thank you very much.